On the morning of July 27, 2025, a Russian warship formation, led by the flagship Admiral Makarov, silently advanced toward Ukraine with an audacious Black Sea landing plan. Unbeknownst to them, hundreds of Ukrainian kamikaze drones had them in their sights, ready to unleash a deadly ambush. A severed signal, an exposed formation, and the sky suddenly lit up with smoke and fire from these flying projectiles. UJ-22C Baby and Magura V-5 drones swarmed from all directions, turning the Russian formation into a mangled wreck in the waves. But Ukraine didn't stop there. The Bayraktar TB2, a watchful eye in the sky, recorded every moment of the Black Sea Fleet's demise. Each explosion was a blow to Russia's ambitions, from Snake Island to the waters off Odessa. The Black Sea, where cold waves crashed and winds howled, continued to be an unforgiving battlefield. If you want to know how Russia crumbled against Ukraine's technology and tactics, keep reading, because this story isn't over. It's high-tech warfare, where drones dictate the fate of nations. A midnight landing in the dark of night. At 3:56 a.m. on July 27th, the guided missile frigate Admiral Makarov, flagship of the Black Sea Fleet, led a group of warships south of the Tarkhankut Peninsula. Under the dim moonlight, the ship's special coating made it virtually invisible on the sea, only revealing itself to eyes watching from above. On board, weapons were prepped, the AK-190 cannon was loaded, and the Caliber NK missile launchers were on standby. The Makarov wasn't just on patrol, it was leading an operation. Trailing behind was a Ropucha-class landing ship, carrying a company of Russian naval special forces, along with two Cerna-class fast attack craft equipped with demolition gear, electronic warfare tools, and mine-sweeping robots. This was a small, fast, and precise attack, designed to hit its target and withdraw before Ukraine could react. This has been the Black Sea Fleet's tactic since the loss of the Moskva in 2022. At the same time, at a secret control station in the southern Mykolaiv steppe, a Bayraktar TB2 drone was on a reconnaissance mission. It had taken off at 1:42 a.m. when radar detected a group of targets leaving Sevastopol, moving southwest without their AIS signals activated, unlike normal commercial vessels. The TB2 didn't fly directly, but circled around the Jarlhik Bay, avoiding the S-400 air defense zone in Crimea. It then descended to below 2,000 meters in a radar blind spot between two ranges of mangroves. This is how the drone survives when facing Russia's modern air defense systems. By 3:33 a.m., the TB2 had stabilized its position in the reconnaissance area, a 60-kilometer long, 25-kilometer wide stretch of sea. From Tarkhankut to offshore Odessa, its MX-15D sensors scanned the surface, capturing images using visible light, infrared, and ultraviolet. The Black Sea was cold under infrared, but a hot spot was about to emerge. The UAV operator, nicknamed Borsuk, observed meticulously. He wasn't looking for a specific ship, but rather paying attention to signs, tactical movement formations, deactivated AIS signals, unusual heat signatures on vessels, or erratic movements, unlike civilian ships. At 3:47 a.m., Borsuk spotted a fast-moving streak traveling at about 28 knots. Zooming in, it was the Admiral Makarov, with its characteristic size and radar layout. Under thermal imaging, the missile launchers glowed brightly. He marked the target, then detected three more streaks, the Rapucha and two Cerna craft, forming a complete landing formation. The TB2 began recording. Through the infrared camera, Borsuk saw about 50 people on the landing ship, not wearing naval uniforms but lightly equipped infantry. Some carried shoulder-fired launchers, while others inspected steel crates containing unusual supplies, not typical cargo. This was clearly not a patrol. At this point, the Makarov was less than 80 kilometers from the Ukrainian coast, heading southeast towards Snake Island's mini-island, once a hotspot and now a maritime surveillance outpost. Signs indicated Russia wanted to establish a sabotage corridor or a landing point near Odessa. The TB2 maintained a safe distance. Beneath the surface, waves gently lapped. High above, the drone silently analyzed the images. Borsuk prepared to send the live video feed to the 383rd UAV headquarters. Not a single shot had been fired yet, but the war had silently begun, and the Admiral Makarov was already in the crosshairs even before the waves touched its bow. Deadly machines in the sky. 4:33 a.m. The TB2 wasn't alone in this battle. About silent formation appeared over 100 kamikaze drones, including UJ-22 Sea Baby, Magura V-5, and various smaller drones, simultaneously entered the area from 4 directions, splitting into 5 attack vectors west, south, southeast, northwest, and 1 from below the surface. The Sea Babies skimmed the waves, only their small antennas protruding to receive remote control signals. The spoke formation tactic was activated. The drones were divided into multiple layers, flying at different speeds and altitudes, each group separated by seconds to overwhelm Russia's defense systems. This multi-directional disruption strategy had been successfully tested by Ukraine during an earlier attack on Novorossiysk port. Each drone was designed to be difficult for radar to detect, with lightweight composite bodies in low-altitude flight, effectively blinding Russian radar. On board the Admiral Makarov, warning lights turned bright red, the AK-630 cannons rotated continuously, and the close-in weapon system CIWS radar detected small targets moving from multiple directions, but locking on was difficult. These drones were too small, too fast, and had a very low radar cross-section, leaving Russia's air defense system on the defensive. 044 AM. The attack began. 2 Magura V-5 drones from the south sped in at over 70 km/h, immediately drawing fire from the Makarov's 30mm cannons. But from the west, 3 armored Sea Babies had silently bypassed the outer defense perimeter, closing in on the Rapucha landing ship, the second target in the Russian formation. At UAV headquarters 383, the control screen lit up with dozens of blinking red dots. Each dot was a kamikaze drone, controlled by semi-autonomous artificial intelligence, though the final decision still rested with humans. "Alpha Group, open fire," the commander ordered over the secure radio. 4:35 AM. 3 small explosions echoed, creating gentle shockwaves on the surface. 1 drone hit the anti-torpedo net around the Makarov, but 2 others struck the ship's starboard side. Fierce fires erupted. A critical radar on the Makarov was destroyed, causing the ship to list slightly. Alarms blared on deck and sailors scrambled to control the blaze. To the east, the Beta drone group approached the 2 Cerna boats. They deployed decoys to jam radar before diving straight in. A UJ-26 drone slipped through a defensive gap, striking the Cerna boat's control cabin. Thick black smoke and flames billowed, causing the boat to nearly lose control. Soldiers on the boat frantically tried to retaliate, but the drone's speed left them no time to react. 4:36 AM. The TB2 delivered the decisive blow. A MAM-L missile was released, flying straight into the Makarov's command tower. A sharp, distinct explosion. Not overly loud, but enough to sever the central communication system. The Makarov's CIWS defense system became disoriented, no longer receiving coordinated signals. This was the moment the 3rd drone group, Gamma Group, launched a direct assault. They weren't just harassing, they aimed for complete destruction. One after another, drones swarmed like sharks beneath the waves. Each explosion shook the Makarov's hull. 1 drone struck the 100mm cannon ammunition depot, causing a massive fire that spread across the forward deck. Thick black smoke billowed, obscuring the crew's vision. Fire began to spread to critical compartments, causing the ship to gradually lose its combat capability. 04:39 AM. The Rapucha ship also did not escape its fate. Attacked from 2 sides, the ship listed heavily after a large explosion on its port side, likely due to a kamikaze drone carrying specialized anti-ship explosives. Seawater poured in through the holes, causing the ship to slowly sink. Some soldiers jumped into the sea, trying to swim away from the dangerous area. On the Makarov, the situation worsened. Fire spread to the electrical compartment, and a large antenna collapsed onto the deck. Black smoke enveloped the bow, making the air suffocating. Amidst the darkness, smoke, and fire, the drones continued their relentless assault. They struck every part of the Russian formation, destroying radar, weapon systems, and even the crew's morale. Each explosion was a precise hit, as if guided by an invisible hand. The TB2 continued to circle overhead, recording the entire scene, sending data back to headquarters for commanders to analyze and prepare for the next steps. The battle in the Black Sea had entered a fierce phase, with the advantage clearly leaning toward Ukraine. When Russia's pride was buried, 04:45 AM, the Black Sea was shrouded in darkness. illuminated only by the flickering flames from the Admiral Makarov. Once a symbol of the Black Sea Fleet's power, a massive explosion from the 100mm ammunition depot had ripped through the forward deck, destroying the main radar system and damaging the AK-190 cannons. The fire spread rapidly, engulfing the control room and paralyzing the communication system. The ship listed heavily to starboard, its engines dead, leaving the Makarov drifting like a burnt-out iron hulk in the waves. One of the two Cerna-class fast attack boats had completely sunk, with a column of black smoke rising from its wreck before the seawater swallowed it. The remaining Cerna was burning fiercely. No longer capable of combat, the Rapucha-class landing ship sustained even heavier damage, with large holes on its port side caused by kamikaze drones carrying anti-ship explosives. Seawater flooded its compartments, causing the ship to slowly sink. Over 30 Russian soldiers jumped into the cold water, attempting to swim to safety, but many couldn't withstand the strong currents and the biting cold of the Black Sea. At UAV Headquarters 383, the atmosphere was filled with intense focus mixed with exhilaration. Operator Borsuk, his eyes glued to the screen, watched every frame from the Bayraktar TB2 drone. Data showed that at least 70% of Russia's landing force had been neutralized. The kamikaze drones, from UJ-22C Baby to Magura V5, despite their low cost, proved astonishingly effective. In just a few minutes, Russia's multi-million-dollar formation, with its sophisticated equipment and highly trained special forces, had been destroyed by Ukraine's flying projectiles. Borsuk gave a slight smile, but he knew this was just one victory in a long war. The attack concluded. The remaining drones withdrew, leaving behind a scene of devastation on the surface. The Admiral Makarov was no longer capable of coordination or counterattack. Its radar system was destroyed. The Kaliber NK missile launchers were severely damaged, and the crew was only focused on firefighting to save the ship. A large antenna collapsed onto the aft deck, creating a harsh metallic clang in the night. The Rapucha ship had completely sunk, taking with it most of the Special Forces equipment, from mine-clearing robots to steel crates containing secret supplies. Some Russian soldiers were rescued from the water by rescue vessels, but many perished in the harsh cold. The remaining Cerna drifted aimlessly, with fire still smoldering at its stern. This defeat was a heavy blow to the Black Sea Fleet. The Admiral Makarov, its main flagship, was now a charred hulk, inoperable for months, if not permanently. Russia's plan to establish a sabotage corridor near Odessa or create a landing bridgehead at Snake Island had completely collapsed. This incident revived painful memories of the Moskva sinking in 2022, when the Black Sea Fleet lost its greatest symbol of power. Now, with the Makarov neutralized, Russia lost a significant part of its ability to control the Black Sea, severely diminishing the fleet's prestige. Russian commanders would face immense pressure from the Kremlin to explain this failure, while naval resources dwindled. In Ukraine, news of the victory spread quickly among the military. The Pantsir spoke formations tactic with the perfect coordination between TB2s, kamikaze drones, and semi-autonomous artificial intelligence demonstrated Ukraine's strength in high-tech warfare. At a fraction of the cost of Russia's assets, Ukraine successfully defended the vital maritime transport route near Odessa, a crucial economic lifeline. Snake Island, once a fierce combat zone, continued to be held as a monitoring outpost, helping Ukraine maintain its position in the Black Sea. Commanders at UAV Headquarters 383 began analyzing data from the battle, drawing lessons to refine tactics for subsequent engagements. The TB2 returned safely to base, carrying valuable data from the battle. Borsuk and his team were congratulated for their crucial role in the victory, but none of them rested. They all knew that Russia would seek retaliation, and the Black Sea would continue to be a fierce battlefield. Ukrainian engineers had already begun working to upgrade drones, increasing their stealth capabilities and destructive power. Meanwhile, at Russian naval bases in Sevastopol, a heavy atmosphere pervaded as commanders received damage reports. The victory at Tarkinkut was not just a military blow, but also a symbol of Ukraine's resilience and innovation. The Black Sea, with its cold waves, continued to witness the uncompromising war between the two nations, and Ukraine was gradually gaining the upper hand. All content above is purely simulated, hypothetical, strategic, and analytical in nature. It is not intended to incite violence, promote political bias, or provoke military conflict or warfare. The content is solely for the purpose of theoretical simulation and analysis by our individual team. Any misinterpretations will not be accepted. We are not responsible for any understanding or application derived from the content. Viewers should exercise their own judgment, verify information, and consume content selectively. Thank you very much for staying with us until the end. If you are passionate about military affairs, enjoy analysis, and like to propose hypotheses, then stay with our channel. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any daily updates from us. Now, you can watch some of our latest and most popular videos currently displayed on the screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.